Okay, Year 7, the last explanation we need to do for fractions, and this is division. Now, division is a very difficult concept when we divide by fractions. There's a very, very good widget on HotMaths that explains why we do what we do, and you're meant to have watched that as part of your capacity matrix. What I'm going to do, though, is show you how to do it. So nothing on the explanation of why, so when we're dividing fractions, but how. So let's have a look at exercise 6G, question 6. But first, let's write a little rule or some rules. And to divide fractions, just multiply, and it's divided by a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. That's a big word. And it just means turn the fraction. So if you've got A on B, the reciprocal is B on A. Just turn it upside down. Another way to think is to flip it and rip it. As last year's school captain said, flip it and rip it. If you want to remember it that way, that's fine. I will remember that it's to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal is just turning the fraction upside down. So let's have a look at exercise 6G, and we'll do a couple of these questions, and I'm just going to do the last column. So we'll have a look at 6D. So I've got 15 on 7 divided by 3. Well, when we divide 15 on 7, we multiply by the reciprocal. And remember, that's 3 on 1. So when we take the reciprocal, we're multiplying by 1 on 3. And that makes it easy. If you remember your working multiplication, 3 goes into itself once. 3 goes into 15 5 times. Now I multiply the top. 5 times 1 is 5. 7 times 1 is 7. 5 sevenths. Let's have a look at 6H. 1 and 13 on 14 divided by 9. Well, this is going to be hard. First of all, let's make that into an improper fraction. 14 times 1 is 14, plus 1 is plus 13 is 27. So we get 27 on 14. Now that was hard. Multiplied by the reciprocal of 9 on 1. Well, that's 1 on 9. Now this is where knowing your multiplication tables is very important. 9 goes into itself once. 9 goes into 27 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. 14 times 1 is 14. Let's have a look at question 7. 24 divided by a fifth. So this is 7D. Remember, when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 on 5 is 5 on 1. Well, that's just multiplying by 5. And remember our quick trick for multiplying by 5? Halve it, 12, and add a 0. 5 times 24 is 120. Let's try H. 10 divided by 3 on 2. Well, that's the same as 10 times the reciprocal 2 on 3. Well, that becomes 2 times 10 is 20 on 3. Now, nothing could cancel in that first one. I hope you realise that. Nothing goes into 3 with any of the numbers on top. But now I better simplify this, and 3 goes into 20, well, 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 threes are 18, with 2 left over. Had to think about that. Over here, you could have just gone, 6 times 3, that equals 18. There you go, 6 2/3. So there's the answer for 7H. I just better check that, because imagine if I got that wrong. So there we go, 6 2/3. Let's have a look at 8. Now we're getting hard. A fraction divided by a fraction. 2/3 divided by 8 on 9. Well, leave the front fraction alone, but multiply by the reciprocal. Now I could do that multiplication, and I'm going to do it, but it's not the way you should do it. I'm going to do it again beside ourselves over here. Let's imagine you didn't know how to cancel. So 2 9s are 18, and 3 8s are 24. Well, let's simplify that. Let's halve them both, halve the top and halve the bottom. That's the easiest way. 9 on 12. And then you can quickly see, 3 goes into the top. So 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. So it becomes 3/4. It would have been much easier to go 2/3 times 9 on 8. And to remember to cancel. 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 8 4 times. And then when I do that multiplication, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4. We get the answer much quicker, and it's a lot easier. Let's do the next one. H, 9 3/7 divided by 12 4/7. 9 3/7 divided by 12 4/7. Now that looks particularly hard. 9 3/7 divided by. Let's make them improper to start with. So I'm going to multiply and then add. 9 7s are, got to know me multiple times tables. 9 7s are 63, plus 3 is 66. Whoa. On 7. Divided by 12 7s. Well, 10 7s are 70, plus 2 more is 84. 84 and 4 is 88 on 7. That's tough. 66 on 7, multiply by the reciprocal, 7 on 88. Well, as soon as I see the 7s, I'm pretty happy, because 7 goes into itself once. But I also know I can halve these, but they're the same. Oh, look, 11. 11 goes into that 8 times, and 11 goes into that 6 times. Oh, and I can cancel again. I'll use a different colour. 2 goes into that 3 times, and 2 goes into that 4 times. You are kidding. Is it that simple? Is it 3 times 1 and 1 times 1? Is it 3/4? And if I look at question 9, and I'm looking for, what question is it? Is it 9 or is it 10? It's 8H. 8H, and it is 3/4. Whoa. Imagine doing 66 times 7 and 7 times 88. I'm going to have to do a lot of multiplication on the other side. So let's have a look at question 9. 3/4 divided by 9 on 4. 3/4 divided by 9 on 4. So 3/4 divided by 9 on 4, multiplied by the reciprocal, 3/4 times 4 on 9. As soon as I see the 4s, I go, yay, because I can cancel them out with 1. Remember, it's 1, not 0. 3 goes into itself once. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now multiply the top. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times a third. So there's the first one. And let's do the last one. H, 3/5 divided by 2/7. 3/5 divided by 2/7. Flip it and rip it. 7 on 2. Now I'm looking there and I can't see anything cancelling. Nothing on the bottom goes to anything on the top. So I'm going to get 21. 3 times 7 is 21. On 2 times 5 is 10. Really can't leave it like that. I could, but let's make it a mixed numeral. 10 goes into 21 twice and 1 left over. 2 and a 10th. And that's right. So, dividing fractions, just multiply by the reciprocal. And remember, the reciprocal is turning a fraction upside down. If you're dividing and the number happens to be a whole number, well then you just put it over 1 and then turn it upside down. All right, good luck with those.